ai koe programa ko ia e hoani ko no te koe programa o e ofisi o e Pacific Community ka ko office wa ma hai no Polynesian ia o fa ko ia e honi ka wala de mal tu poni ma fe ma pa mai live stream ko ia I'm FM broadcasting for the Hong Dao Whirongwaki hiri ko ia e spot e honi ka ko ni ko e program ko ni ko e ka venga la ni o e honi e ka program ko ni una ke tu tamai ai fa fa ni pandemia Tonga o ga Ameriku Latu e te taki e whakataria ni me tolu me se sui santa tai nā Tonga rea tatari mrisa ko i ki muri whikita moia i loa uto e ka manu whare whakamo ni are bau ko ia me pureanga Tonga me moe Pacific Community ki nā u whakahoko ko ia ai ofisio foto u i Tonga ni whapafonga me Tonga ni mrisa ki muri Pagita mai loa doi ka manu whafonga me Pacific Community na ilo ki mo ka SPC e tare kita seniare ko Dr. Stuart Minchin. E vale te fitonga e puranga tonga pare mia o ka Ameriku. E ai bia malea me tare kita seniare Pacific Community Dr. Stuart Minchin. Pare mo fuaki o me au whafonga e me Pacific Community. E fai e reitu wana kunselani to lupe tango ka tare kita whawhetu ui o Polynesian me Pacific Community pe te dala le mai maka whakamanatu ko ia o e ofisini e panemia whakatahama tare ke seneare Pacific Community e rea tatari lewa e wahaukat ia e tare kita whawhetu ko e ma Polynesian Pacific Community leitu ana kunselani to lupe tango lotu toku lewa whakautare ni me tolu e atu ki hoko atu ki e tantari a bureanga pepe ki e te senara SPC kua hoko ia ki he waterfront anaiangi ko toka he bitoni he te mini ku hini ka whafonga bureanga whafonga ko ia o Britannia pe hoki ki New Zealand pe ki Australia pe ke Taumirista me kabineti vena lot foge pe voke ki sa en pikala ka wa pong falele John Gradin taione pe ke ka uka pe ke pe me ka ta ka mai por nga ku no si te fu hani ita men ku to ta mai ni ai va pong ko ia oceana to ta mai fa pa la ni premio ko ia Tonga hivo mo fono mai kai ko fofonga pe na ta pe pole rero pe mi ta va ko mi ane nai pe ke vai no foka kana na tolo tu kwange pa ta okay ni ma mo kai ta va to ko ia e ta mini ki te wa ki ko programa ko no programa office wa fitu ma Polynesian ko se boga ofisia melansia pe mo mai Polynesian ko Tonga ni ne o foto wa office wa fitu wani te tu wa ke fa ta ke
tap mo afio ai o tua maf i ho tau loto Tonga tap mo na afio tu po wono ko tui mo hau o o Tonga tap mo tani kuina na spau tuku a. Tap mo tama pilinis kalau ni, pilinis tu pautoa, ulkalala, mo fale o ha mo heofa. Pe kole ke hufanga he talamalu o lotu mo fonua, ka ata ke feia tu ai fatongia o e fiafkoen. Ono pohua kava meiliku, Prime Minister of Tonga, Dr. Stuart Minchin, Director General of the Pacific Community, Honourable Ministers of the Cabinet, Diplomatic Head of Missions and members of the Diplomatic Corps, Reverend Dr. Taliani Meitolu and member of the clergy, Chief Secretary and Secretary to Cabinet, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to welcome you all to this auspicious occasion. Today we gather here to mark the opening of the first SBC Polynesia regional office in Nuku'alofa. We shall commence our program for this afternoon, and I kindly invite Reverend Dr. Henelita Liainu Meitolu to grace this occasion with the opening prayer. Maru.
Tapai afia o tō mafia tolo tolo tō, tapai le afia o hawe o Tonga ki te pōwān. Aina koe kuini, kuina na spau tapa moe e pare mea o Tonga, ono polo huakawa meiriku. Tapa moe e ki no pere ane afia o Lord Waia, tapa moe hawe ki blista o e whataha angani. Ai kup katoa pe, kata mo mo koe whainga maari e koe ni. Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Huakawa Meiriku, Dr. Stuart Minchin, Director General Pacific Community, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, and ministers of the Cabinet, Lord Waia, and all of you who are here. It's a great honor. To the Honourable Prime Minister, last night I was trying to write a paper on the Prophet Jonah. I mean, he's the guy who's so radical, disobedient, and so forth. And I said to myself, everything is in a mess. It's chaotic, chaos. And I think God mastered this mess with respect. Life is not that easy. We think we know. We think we are the masters of life until the prophet Jonah is being shaken, being pushed out of his comfort zone. And you may ask, what's the connection with this, Tariai? And I would say, God told him to go and save a people, same population as Tonga, 120,000. Go and save them. But this very people is the greatest enemy of the people of God. And Jonah, with respect, hates these lot with his guts. With all the knowledge he knew of God, he decided, I will not go and speak to these people. I know my God. My God is graceful and loving, forgiving. My God will save this lot. But I hate. I don't want to go. And what comes into mind, that's God. That's God. I was in a wedding. I was sitting next to the chief judge and his wife, and present was Princess Pilorevo and Lord Tuita. And I was told to come in and do this with honor to the members from other countries. I'm not the General Secretary of the Church. I'm the Jonah of the Church. But I love it. I love it. I love the mess. I love the chaos. I love our weaknesses, our shortcomings. And what comes into mind, this is why Tonga of all the places. And I would say to myself, all of the things we want to talk about in our Pacific community is very, very much politically incorrect. We won't say that. And I said, why should we talk in English or French for that matter? This is the Pacific Polynesian community. But then we will fight. The Tongans would say, we'll speak in Tongan. the Samoans would say, that's our part. Let's talk Samoan. But it's the reality of life. And we are so thankful. I'm not to say that, but I have to say this, the very core of who we are as Tongans. We believe that what God gave to George to Paula first, and give the country, give it to God. We are far from perfect. We're very much dependent upon the help of other countries. But that's the very core of us. We are so thankful that all of this mess, God is with us. This God is a forgiving God, loving God, mighty God. And you think, oh, what's the big fuss about the tsunami, the mountain eruption? We can't help it. We say, God, thank you. The world thought it will be eradicated, uprooted from the globe, but we are still around. Not that we are perfect. We are very sinful people, but we thank you. So I will pray in the Polynesian language. I'm not that bad. Kita Latu. Father, we do thank you and praise you. You created this. You created Samoans, Maoris, Tongans, and somehow we decided to call them Polynesian. They are a singing lot. They are a happy lot. They could be the happiest people on earth. Give them joy. Tell the missionaries to go to Tonga, go to Tahiti. Tell them there are people there, people of God, and they need God. And we thank you for this establishment. We thank you for your word. We thank you for creating us. We thank you for our vulnerability, our so-called weakness. It really glorifies your name. Ega mau whawhita. O whaki. Ai poto me along ke tu po I po on. Po kai ke mau mau tō. Ege mau tō. Mea I vehe pare mea mau tō wai ai. Koe mau tu uni koe ofa ai a whiana. Nā moe whataanga whawaha pureanga. Koe ke mau tō. Ka kai tono no pe vai a mo mono ia ko fai ki matau ta pe ki na fatahangan wa fa pe ho alo klais ko ma fa moi amen thank you
fa feta ia tu fa fe ka to ke ta tari ani me tolu I he lota poaki mo e whakoloa o ngā oe o e whiawhkoe. May I now invite the Honourable Whekita Moiloa o Toi Kamanu, Minister for Foreign Affairs, for the welcoming remarks. Malo. Tapu mo e awhio ai tolu tahai o tua, I ho tau loto ngā. Ka kou kore ke huwhanga atu he ngahi tālaka kato, na e whakahoko atu I he Master of Ceremony ka mai whaiwhekau. Ka whakahoko atu ai lea taitari I he lea whakapitania. Honourable Huakapa Meiliku, Prime Minister of Tonga, Dr. Stuart Minchin, Director General of the Pacific Community and staff, heads of missions and members of the Diplomatic Corps,
Lord Mayor, Lord Fohe, and Cabinet Ministers, Reverend Dr. Taliai Nimetolu, ladies and gentlemen, I warmly welcome you all. This is a truly momentous occasion as we celebrate the opening of the first SBC Polynesia Regional Office. What a milestone! It is my honor as your Minister for Foreign Affairs in charge of Tonga's membership in the Pacific Community, or SPC, and it was my office's honor to prepare for such a historical day. The SPC is a regional international organization governed by 27 members, including Tonga. It is the principal scientific and technical organization in the Pacific and has supported development in the region since 1947. The support of SPC towards Tonga helped us to achieve key development priorities in the areas of climate change, public health, statistics, human rights, culture, youth, geoscience, agriculture, fisheries, and education. These are also the key sectors across which SPC works. Today, let us celebrate SPC being present here in Tonga. We and all Polynesian members will have a greater access to the expert resources and technical knowledge that SPC has to offer. Tonga has received considerable assistance, but Tonga too has contributed to the organization through the provision of Tongan expert personnel. Many Tongan leaders in their field served in the SPC, and then they returned home, including our Prime Minister. I'm pleased that others whom we have invited to join us today have also lent their expert knowledge to SPC, and we counted 13 who are in Tonga, who are former SPC staff. We also remember several former staff who have passed, including Mr. Sione Kite and Mr. Alexis Fa, former late director of the Lands Resources Division. On a personal level, as a former Deputy Director General of the SPC, it is great to see that the organization has expanded its outreach to include Polynesia. We also acknowledge Solomone Fifita, who is leading the PICRI work in Tonga under the SPC. They have been generous in their time and have had to work from home to enable the refurbishment of this office to take place over the past few weeks. So thank you is owed to Solomone and his PICRI staff. Acknowledgement is also due to the Honourable Minister of MEDEC and the CEO for availing the office space for PICRI and now the Polynesian Regional Office. More recently, the SPC has contributed immensely to our government's work in the development of our national report to be presented to the Human Rights Council Universal Periodic Review Working Group in Geneva next week. Through the efforts of Eleni Mone, the SPC Human Rights Country Focal Officer in Tonga, SPC conducted a workshop in preparation of the UPR, and this morning SPC hosted in Fiji a mock UPR session for our officials. SPC's work is extensive and it is far-reaching, and it is important that its member states continue to make use of the opportunities the organization has to offer. In the past, with the SPC headquarters in Noumea, distance presented a challenge for Tonga to access SPC opportunities. It is my hope that today we overcome this challenge as we can deal directly with SPC through this Polynesia Regional Office. Following our successful bid to host the office in November last year, a work plan was prepared aimed at opening the Polynesia Regional Office in September this year. At our Prime Minister's initiative, our government made a call for the setup to be accelerated. And this is why we can open the office today in April, 5 months prior to the original deadline. This underscores how committed government is to SPC, its Polynesian members, and to the work of the Polynesia Regional Office. I also must thank SPC for all their extra efforts, all their added resources to help us meet this accelerated deadline. Thank you, and thank you to all our Polynesian members for their support of Tonga to host this office. Allow me to acknowledge the SPC Regional Director to Polynesia, Letuala Quinsilani Tako Elesara. Her dedication and drive makes the work of SPC for Polynesia thrive. We warmly welcome you and as you make Tonga your home for the duration of your tenure as Director. I know that your support and that of your colleagues, including Rafael Lupo, towards the staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been instrumental in making this opening and launch a success. I close by thanking the Director General of the Pacific Community, Dr. Stuart Minchin, for being here for this opening. Your presence underscores the commitment SPC has towards Tonga and towards the member countries of Polynesia. On behalf of the Honourable Prime Minister and His Majesty's Government, I once more welcome you all and let us join in this historic celebration of the opening of the first ever SPC Polynesia Regional Office in Nuku'alofa. Malo.
Whamalo atu, Ek Minister. Honourable Prime Minister and Director General, we have now come to an important part of this program, which is the signing of the host country agreement on the privileges and immunities of the Pacific community between the Government of Tonga and the Pacific community. This agreement sets out the terms that both the Government of Tonga and the Pacific community have agreed on for the establishment of the SPC Polynesia Regional Office. This determined the activities of the SPC and the obligations of the Government of Tonga under this agreement. May I now invite the Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs to sign the agreement on behalf of the Government of Tonga and the Director General to sign the agreement on behalf of the SPC. Mano.
Famoni ai wherotoi o ia ai Buranga Tonga pe moe Pacific Community ke whakalere tonga ni ai office ko ia ne ngona e kore whakapena e piti a tonga ni ki o mai ai office tu u i tonga ni. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister and Director General, on formalizing this agreement, and congratulations on the signing of this agreement and for all those efforts that have been made by both sides to finalize the terms before the signing and the opening today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to invite the Honourable Wakava Meiliku, the Prime Minister of Tonga, to deliver his keynote address for this historic event and officially open the SPC Polynesia Regional Office in Nuku'alofa.
Tamu tua mawhawhi, tamu e tuia toa ki mpuawa ma aine kuini, nana spau, whare a marafo. Tamu ke tama peris karani, tupo toa karara ma hoi ki whunua. tapu e ni ki ora ko se ki to mo ro vai a o I community tapu e ki te vira bloka ka ma ka fa rea tapu e ki fai te kau Tongatapu I me tolu mo alo
Tapu e ni ki he kauwhawhonga e ngai whanua o tau kaunga api. Mo tonga kotoa mo mea mai I he hoata whawhiawhia koin. Tau whawhita ki he o toa mawhi. Malawa tau au si ai. Ai mo ui mo whiawhia lahi. Ke tau kau whataha mai ai. I he mo menidi whakahistoria koin. Koe huwhia ni mo tāpua ki ai fuafua o fisi. Whakawhitu o e community ai Pasifiki, mai ngai whanua o Polynesia. The Polynesian Regional Office of the Secretariat of the Pacific Community. Nai lahi pe ngai whanua Polynesia na nau tohi, mo whaamu ki tua e ofisi. Ka wai monu ia, pa koe ila peu whakoroa milangi. Pau tau whawhitai ai, I he lava koia o tau mao ai whainga maari e ke whakalele, mo tuu ai ofisi koe ni, I Nuku'alofa, I Tongani, ai au tau whakatahataha mai, ke whakailonga I. Koe manga mai ren ma Tonga, e koe fuafua ofisi whakawhitu e ni, ma ai Polynesia, pa koe ni ufotu I Tongani. Hange koe mea e minista ki muri, o ne whakailonga I hene tau e whanoa e tau kau a Tongani, ki he sino koe ni o kui, koe SPC, koe Secretariat of the Pacific Community. Pea au tau pe ke whakailonga I aki ai tau koe ia, tau whanoa, ai ofisi koe ni au tau whatataha mai, ke whawhiawhiai, o no tuu koe ia I loto Nuku'alofa ni. Whawai pe tui te tau whakaonga I le rei, ai whainga maari e koe ni, ki he li lei whakalukufua, kai ke ngata pe I Tonga, ka ko Polynesia whoki. A tupe ke hokatua e lea whapapalangeni, I he lea, ai lea ni lea whapapalangeni. Dr. Stuart Minchin, Director General of the Pacific Community, diplomatic corps, cabinet ministers, members of parliament, Reverend Dr. Taliani Meitolu, and members of the clergy, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to address this important and historic opening of our first ever Pacific Community Polynesian Regional Office. The SPC, as many of you know, is headquartered in Noumea with an office in Fiji and a sub-regional office in FSM. SPC was created in 1947. Since then, it was expanded its presence and established regional offices in Bona Bay, which covers Micronesia, and Port Vila, which covers Melanesia. Finally, Polynesia will have its representation with this Office for Polynesia, which we are very proud to host here in the capital of the kingdom, here in Nuku'alofa. Tonga joined SPC in 1983, so 40 years ago. Tonga has a strong role in the Pacific. We enjoy strong regional cooperation, and we do so because we believe all Pacific people's lives deserve well-being through access to science, technology, and knowledge. And as a member of SPC and a member of many regional organizations, our government continues to explore opportunities for our people. We believe we can maximize opportunities through using the capabilities of these organizations to advance our sustainable development goals and aspirations. SPC offers us scientific and technical support so we can progress on a number of initiatives across different sectors. This ranges from natural resources and the environment to questions of equity, education, and social development, sustainable system and climate action, statistical data, public health, food system, fisheries, economies and livelihood, and transforming institutional effectiveness. The opening of the Polynesian Regional Office here in Tonga truly is a milestone. This is an achievement for our government and for our Polynesian members in the Pacific. Polynesia is the largest sub-region in terms of countries within SPC. This is also the most complex sub-region considering the region's diverse political structures. This demands support through a dedicated regional office like this new office. The presence of SPC on the ground means that we will have direct access to services and programs offered to Polynesian member countries of SPC. For Tonga in particular, this will help increase focus on some of our key priorities requiring the support of SPC and other regional partners. More importantly, it will ensure that we in Polynesia receive the same attention in terms of program and services offered elsewhere. The opening framework for the Polynesian office, which outlines how the office will deliver for Polynesian members, will be key to that. There must be a balanced approach to coverage and reach across all of our Polynesian members. Once more, I wish to acknowledge our gratitude for the support Tonga has received from Polynesian members towards the establishment of this office. I thank the leadership and stewardship of our Chair and Vice Chair of the Polynesian Working Group, the Cook Islands and French Polynesia. We extend our gratitude to all Polynesian members of SPC for allowing Tonga to be honored with this opportunity to host this important office. The opening of the Polynesian Regional Office in Tonga is a significant achievement for us as we lead our recovery from events affecting our people so deeply. For generations, we will bear in our minds and heart the violent eruption of Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai a year ago. All of us still struggle with recovery from the global COVID-19 pandemic, affecting our region and the wider global community. I thank SPC for your support to all our recovery efforts. Your presence on the ground will help accelerate the speed of building back better. As we open the Polynesian Regional Office today, 4 decades have elapsed since Tonga joins SPC. What a wonderful way to celebrate our 40th anniversary in the organization. I'm also happy that we're also marking the 6th anniversary of the establishment here in Tonga of the SPC Pacific Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, or PACRE for short. I take this opportunity to extend our appreciation to the Director General of SPC, Dr. Stuart Vincent, for traveling to Tonga for this historical occasion. And I thank you for your leadership and for the initiative to set up the Polynesian Regional Office. Tonga looks forward to working with SPC and the Regional Director for Polynesia. We want to make the work of the Polynesian Regional Office a success. We want to engage with the diverse capabilities and technical expertise that SPC has to offer. I finally acknowledge the work led by the Honourable Minister for Foreign Affairs and her hard-working staff for leading our campaign to host this office, for preparation and the completion of the host office facilities. And now, I am pleased to declare this Polynesian Regional Office of the Pacific Community open. Malo abit.
Whamalo atu e palemia. May I now welcome to the podium the Director General of the Pacific Community to deliver his remarks.
The Honourable Prime Minister of Tonga, members of Cabinet, Excellencies and members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads and representatives of government ministries, representatives of regional and international organisations, ladies and gentlemen, greetings from the Pacific community. It's an honour for me to address you all here this afternoon on the occasion of the opening of SPC's Polynesia Regional Office. It's a pleasure to be here experiencing the warm hospitality of the people of Tonga. The Pacific Community, or SPC, is the principal scientific and technical organisation in the Pacific region, proudly supporting development since 1947. We serve our members by interweaving and harnessing the nexus of climate, ocean, land, culture, rights and good governance through trusted partnerships, investing in Pacific people and understanding deeply Pacific contexts. When I started as my tenure as Director General in 2020, the absence of a Polynesia Regional Office was very noticeable. And after some internal consultations and deliberations, the work on exploring the possibility of creating the office began about 8 months into my role as Director General during COVID. Recognising that the establishment of a Polynesia Regional Office will bring some balance in our services and engagement across the region. Our journey, therefore, on the establishment of the Polynesia Regional Office started in September 2020 and was officiated by our governing body, CRGA, at its 50th meeting in November 2020, where they mandated the Secretariat to explore the feasibility of establishing a Pacific Community Polynesia Regional Office. To ensure ownership by our members of this undertaking, a Polynesian working group was established in January 2021 to take the work forward alongside the Secretariat. The working group, as you've heard, was chaired by the Cook Islands and supported by French Polynesia as Vice Chair, and members included American Samoa, Niue, Samoa, Tonga, Wallis and Futuna. And at this point, we acknowledge the leadership of the Cook Islands and French Polynesia in leading this work successfully to this point. Guided by the advice of the Polynesian Working Group, SPC's Polynesian members at their meeting on the 13th of August 2021 unanimously concluded that the establishment of a Polynesian Regional Office was timely. Subsequently, at the 51st meeting of CRGA, the creation of the Polynesian Regional Office was endorsed, and a call for expressions of interest and a bidding process saw Tonga as the preferred host for the Polynesian Regional Office. The decision was endorsed by our members at the 52nd meeting of CRGA, and part of this endorsement included a timeline, which you've already heard, for setting up the office in September of 2023. However, at the request of the Prime Minister, the office was was brought forward five months earlier, which is has to be a record, I think, in the region. And it's a reflection of his keen interest and desire to have SPC presence here in Tonga and operating at the earliest possible time. And we duly acknowledge you, Prime Minister, for your commitment and leadership in progressing the establishment of the office. In preparation for the setting up of the office, we have in place a relocation and transition delivery plan for 2023 to 2024, developed in consultation with the Government of Tonga, and this will help staff at the Polynesian Regional Office set up and organise themselves towards becoming fully operational over the next 6 to 12 months. In addition to that, the staff have also developed an ecosystem of operations for the office that takes into account the relational nature of its delivery and the ways of working. The different elements of this ecosystem for the Polynesian Regional Office, which are directly linked and interconnected, include standard operating procedures, emergency management plan, business continuity plan, communication and engagement plan, and it's envisaged that this context for the system of operations will be socialised internally and externally towards strengthening our ways of operating. These are informed by Pacific ways of knowing, thinking and being, ensuring a solid foundation embedded in our values as Pacific and Polynesian people, all of which are critical to the operations of the office. A related exercise that is also in progress is the documentation of the story of the creation of the Polynesia Regional Office, recording the end-to-end process for the creation of a representative office like this in Tonga, consolidating a best practice model for setting up a regional office. This will not just be for SPC's use in future, but also for Tonga, that can be replicated for future use with other organisations that may wish to set up offices here. With all of this preparatory work in progress, I'm confident that the Polynesia Regional Office is now ready to deliver for our members, and I look forward to the next steps of the work of PRO. In closing, I wish to add that the opening of the Polynesian Regional Office is the start of a new chapter for SPC and its Polynesian members, as it navigates this new entity and what it means both for the Secretariat and for the Polynesian countries. The work that the Regional Director for Polynesia has begun provides an excellent start for the office in terms of facilitating the necessary engagements to socialise the work of the office in Tonga and across all of Polynesia. Our technical teams across SPC are very excited by this opportunity, and we will be exploring possibilities for placing some of their technical experts in the office to service our Polynesian members and, of course, our host Tonga, that is funding permitting, of course. We convey our appreciation to the Government of the Kingdom of Tonga for your kind offer to host the office, and as our gracious host, we are grateful for your efforts and support thus far in providing the Secretariat what it needs as it takes on this onerous task of setting up a new office. In acknowledgement of this major undertaking by the Government of Tonga to host the office, SPC would like to present a gift to the Government today. This gift is a symbol of a long-standing relationship and partnership between SPC and Tonga, built on a shared commitment to ensuring our Pacific people achieve their sustainable development goals and aspirations. This cultural gift holds significant cultural meaning, and it is our hope that this will further solidify our partnership moving into the future. I'd now like to call on our Regional Director for Polynesia for our cultural gift presentation. Latu, please. Thank you for the opportunity. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Alea koe mi he tau te senare, tau te suat mention. Kone wege whaki. Ai mea whakare me tare kita o wia, oi office for all. Polynesian Regional Office.
This cultural gift we're about to present, the Samoan fine mat, is called Ole Ie Ole Whiangainga. This is a symbol of the Whiangainga, or covenant, sealed today through the signing of the host country agreement between the governments of the Kingdom of Tonga and the Pacific community. As the people of Tonga would know, the Samoan fine mat, or Ie Samoa, is Samoa's most treasured mea sina. And as SPC gifts this to the government of Tonga, I am reminded of a Tongan value of tauhi wā, or wā tausi in Samoan, which is key to our engagement and relationship, officiated through the opening of the Polynesia Regional Office. Honourable Prime Minister, please accept this cultural gift from our Director General on behalf of the Pacific community. Malo aupito.
Waki a mea whakea. Ko he ki he hamoa. Angai whamatanga ko ia. Antara kita ko he koroma o inga tahi ia. I tū ko ia hamoa ka whakailonga ia o i tauhi waa. SPC pe ko e Pacific Community pia mo Tonga ko e nau mea o whaia. Ke whamanatua ke waa ko ia Tonga. Pe mo e Pacific Community ngā hi taurahi ko lawa.
Whawhetai, Queen Selani and the staff of SPC. Before we proceed with our next program, I now invite Ms. Atolo Makehelu. She has been gifted with a soulful voice to perform one item.
Hello.
Malo. whamalo atu a tolo make helu. I he hiwa maali e oi whawkoini. Ko me ite a loto Nuku'alofa. He ko katoa Polynesian. He katoanga oi whawkoini. Honourable Prime Minister and Director General, now I wish to welcome Leituala Quincelani Toilupe Tango, SPC Regional Director for Polynesia, who will also be leading the Polynesian Regional Office in Nuku'alofa to deliver the thank you remarks. Malo. But before Ms. Quincelani will deliver the remarks, I kindly invite the Honourable Prime Minister and Director General to unveil the office plaque.
Akangia no tatala ko ia e maka whamanatu. Oi, whama ko ia e ofisi. I Tonga ni. Ako na me premia pe moe trade senare. Asko to ia u office ko ia o Polynesian. Hono e tataha. Moimoi. Ako nga iimis na Latu. Tu ulan ke hengai fuka ilan pakai oi fono tataha.
The Prime Minister of the Government of the Kingdom of Tonga, the Honourable Hu'akavame Luku, Director General of the Pacific Community, Dr. Stuart Minchin, Honourable Ministers of Cabinet, Reverend Taliai Niume Dolu and members of the clergy, Excellencies, heads of missions and members of the diplomatic corps, heads and representatives of government ministries, representatives of regional and international organizations, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of the formalities of our program for the opening of the Polynesia Regional Office. We thank you for accepting our invitation to be part of this momentous and historic occasion as we launch the opening of SPC's very first Polynesia Regional Office. We appreciate that you've made the time to be here today, and we thank you for gracing us with your presence. We convey our acknowledgements to Reverend Niume Dolu for leading us with a blessing and prayer. We also acknowledge the drive and leadership of the Honourable Prime Minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the officials and the Government of Tonga for ensuring that we meet this great milestone. Malo au pito. Over the past few weeks, many people have worked tirelessly to ensure that this office would be ready for opening today. Despite the challenges we've encountered along the way, we've successfully achieved our target, and for that, we are extremely grateful for all your hard work and effort in completing the establishment of the Polynesia Regional Office. Furthermore, we also acknowledge the tapuainga and prayerful support of the rest of SPC members, in particular our Polynesia member countries who may be watching this event online, not forgetting our colleagues in Suva, Nomea, Pohnpei and Port Vila, our families and friends across our blue Pacific Ocean, whom are all with us in spirit as we celebrate this historical moment. In closing, I leave you with a Samoan proverb, Ia uli masao le la aua na whanua. One of the weapons used by Ngā Whanua, the Samoan goddess of war at battle, was called uli masao. Uli means to steer. Sao means to escape danger. As we begin the work of the Polynesia Regional Office, Ia uli masao le la aua na whanua. Our prayer is that we will steer with wisdom, and may we escape danger and overcome challenges we face as we paddle our canoe into the future. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Malo au pito, soifua mai manuia.
Thank you, Queen Selani. And we at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs would be very much look forward to continue to work with you to effectively deliver the work of SPC, not just in Tonga, but to our Polynesian family. Honorable Prime Minister and Director General, this brings us to the conclusion of this historic event. And may I invite Reverend Dr. Taliai Nimeitolu to deliver the closing prayer. Mahalo.
Ita lotu. E kere sa tau e ka se sukalai si a whae o tua koe ta mai. Whia hui la maalia maani oni. Te tau tō katoa pe whai pe tai ngata. Amen. Hello.
Kakatoia tau programa ko ia. Ano whakawa o e fufua ofisi. Ko e urak ofisi ia. O e wahenga Polynesian. Me community ko e Pacific ko e SPC Polynesian Regional Office u whama ko e Nuku'alofa ni whanang neo lele atu e ngai pitu mo mea mai mea i whongatu wala pitu poini ma pe fo ke live stream ai Broadcom FM Broadcasting ka wai whatangi a me heni pita waki whaina pita taka fuang pe fo ke ki a tu bolea me va per ma cosa slovacca mo mea